I'm about to show you the worst table I've ever attempted to restore. This is the table. It looks like it's been stored outside, maybe in someone's garden as a plant table. It's dried and split, cracks all over. It has broken and missing parts. The corner has busted off. Here it looks like Rover's been chewing on it. This cap is not going to be easy to replace. This table came from Beyond Grandma's House antique store, and I really didn't want to spend weeks fixing it. But James, who works there, wanted to do a collaboration. He said the table has good bones. Maybe, but these bones have osteoporosis. Welcome to Allie Picked. My strategy on a table like this is to take it completely apart, break it down to all the individual components, then one by one tediously repair each and every piece. There's not one piece here that doesn't need repair. Let me show you what does give me hope with this table. On this part here, I squirted it with some paint thinner. The rich, dark color emerges. That's going to be close to the final color that I envision for this project. I'll start the repairs with some of the easy pieces first. I'll probably end up showing you just some of the more interesting repairs. If I showed you every detailed repair, this video would last longer than Gone with the Wind. Here's an interesting repair. This chip is missing. I'll try to match the shape using a similar piece of wood. Once I get the joints to match up, I'll glue it in place. It's a bit larger than it needs to be, so I'll end up sanding it to the right shape. This is going to be the new top. It was a kitchen tabletop that I picked out of the alley. I sanded and primed one side. I then cut a 45-degree angle all around the edge. This is now going to James, who is going to apply a special painting technique to make this look like marble. This piece here is in the worst shape of all. My idea is to sand it flat and then glue a piece of wood to it. That is really ugly, but it just might work. A little carving, sanding, filing, and it's actually starting to take shape. I'm still missing this section right here, and it's not going to be easy to fix. My plan is to make a silicone mold of the shape, fill it with epoxy, and then make some adjustments with sandpaper to match them up. This is a two-part silicone putty. You mix the two parts together, press it around a shape, and let it firm up for about half an hour. I did make a separate video on this product that goes into more detail. It's in the upper right-hand corner. You can click on that video if you want to watch it. I just recently learned that this stuff existed, and I really like it. Once it's dry but flexible, I can pull it off of the mold. Isn't that great? I filled the mold with some epoxy and let it dry overnight. It still needs a lot of sanding and adjustments to fit properly, but I think this is going to work nicely. Here's what it looks like after I glued the epoxy piece in place. I sanded it to fit, and then I used some wood grain filler where the two pieces join together. I also put some wood grain filler on the outside of the epoxy. After all this, I'm hoping that the stain is going to blend in and look similar to the wood. I can still see where the pieces are joined together, but that's not bad. I'm sure I can blend it with some stain to make this almost unnoticeable. This is the top. It has beautiful carvings on the perimeter. The big problem is that all the corners have gaps. This wood has moisture damage and the wood has warped. The way I plan to fix this is to glue wedges in the corners to fill the gaps. This also has a lot of small surface cracks, and I'll fill them using this floor wood filler. This wood filler is also filling in the designs, which I don't want, so I'm going to need to brush that out. For the stain, I'm using Minwax Jacobean stain. It is rather dark for this piece, but I do want a rich looking color, plus it'll hide a lot of the imperfections in the wood. This is the spot that looks like an animal took it for a bone. I'm hoping that this damp wood putty is going to fill in and accept the stain as well. Hopefully this damage is going to be unnoticeable when I'm finished. This part here I need to replicate since it was completely missing. I'm using this thick piece of basswood which I bought at a flea market last year. It has a similar wood grain and texture. Here's another epoxy piece that I had to replicate using a mold. This part had the end broken off and missing. I glued this block of pine to it and began shaping it. These round decorative parts are the best part of this table. I don't think they're made out of wood. They seem to be more like a mold of some sort. They have quite a few cracks and splits in them. I'll use some wood filler on those. After staining it, this looks really nice. What I once thought was an almost impossible restoration is really starting to take shape now. I've replaced all the missing pieces, I've re-glued joints, I've filled so many holes, I lost count of how many hours I even spent working on this project, but I am getting really excited about seeing this come together. And that's what I'm going to do now, is start piecing all these parts together, and I can't wait to see what it looks like when it's finished. I'm headed back to Beyond Grandma's House Vintage Antiques and Collectibles in Chicago to return to them a beautifully restored antique table. You guys remember what it looked like before? Here's some pictures.
Oh, look at that. Look at pieces.
Yeah, that's a
So ugly before.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful.
Oh,
look at the top. Very nice.
Where did you come up with the idea with this? That's nice. I like that.
The gold.
That's perfect.
Hey James, can you tell us the process you used to paint this?
Several layers of acrylic paints, several processes of removal, and a total of like 15 coats to give it depth, like real marble. So it's not just on the surface. And then veining with paintbrushes, fingers, lots of secret processes.
Mary Jo and Bob, the owners of Beyond Grandma's House, loved the table. But more importantly, I was glad that James, whose idea this was to begin with, and who painted that beautiful marble-looking top, he was also pleased.